Hi babes, welcome to the astrological new year. Yay! My name is Kellyanne and I am back with the astro season card readings. I'm back in the Vibrant Coven, getting more active in that space again as I find time and as I'm able to pull together more resources to bring that community together. I am recording this video, this Aries season card reading video for the Vibrant Coven, but I'm sure that I'm gonna give a few tidbits to all the other spaces that I show up in, because I love to share, and I love for everyone who's interested in this kind of shit to get their hands on it. My little spiritual growth story in poem form right there. So we've got the Threads of Fate Shadow Oracle deck that we're going to be reading from, as well as the Voyager Tarot, which is a little bit different than your basic tarot. It's got a different story to it, and already there is some fiery energy popping out of here, so I'm just gonna leave that out face up because I think that's very exciting that it's already giving us news news about how Aries season is going and is going to go. I've got another deck for you that is the Oracle of the Goddess, passed down to me by my magical aunt, and they are so different, and I love them because they give us a little bit of just clear-cut advice in the form of telling us where our head, our heart, and our home spaces could be if we were to tune in to the magical energy that is Aries season. So I'm gonna lay these down. I've already pulled the cards from the Threads of Fate shadow deck, and I can show you right here. This is my spread that I'm reading from, and I would love, before we officially start this reading, to just tune into each other's energy and get this going. So wherever you are right now, just sit nice and comfortably, maybe move and wiggle around until you find a place that feels like you're centered and like you're upright, and have your bottom planted in the earth and your top aimed up toward the sky, and in the middle, in your middle body, in your chest, your heart, your gut, your intestines, your core. That whole space is going to contract as we exhale all of our old air together. And expand as we inhale. And exhale again. Nice long exhale. Inhale deeply and slowly. And now a quick exhale. Okay, now that we're centered together, let's start seeing what this reading has for us. So the first collection of cards that we have are the time space and the change card, the Eight of Worlds. Time space is very much connected to that unknown everything. It's sort of connected to Pisces energy, which is this collectiveness of spirit, because Pisces is at the end of the astrological wheel. It is the 12th sign, and while this is not the number 12, it's the number 20 in the tarot. There is still, for me, this sense that we're coming out of Pisces season. We're coming out of a space where we have been learning more and more about spirit, the spirit of everything, and that oneness energy by connecting those dots along the way. And Pisces season is where we really just feel the weight of it all, the weight of the entire world, and whether that feels heavy for you and contracting, like something heavy sitting on your chest, or whether it feels expansive and big and massive and airy, spacious, as though, like, wow, the bigness of all of the burdens and the hurts and the loves and the connections in the world are just so far beyond me, but I get to be connected to it, that I feel expanded by it all. This is the kind of energy that we're leaving, and it has really kind of given us an example of what a true winter into spring looks like. The Eight of Worlds is telling us about that creative shift from stagnation into growth and liveliness. It shows us that there's this space between hibernation and running and catching all of your dreams, running and going after everything. There's this space between that we get to feel the weight of, and that we get to grow within and expand within. I feel like this is a very expansive reading already. The Threads of Fate deck show us the Death card as well as the Pillar. The Pillar is sort of this mirror for for what may be opposites, but the reason that they oppose each other is because that's what's needed for balance. The reason that we've got Pisces and Aries right next to each other, the last and the first right next to each other, is because they teach us about this duality of our nature, this allness and everythingness, and at the same time, this singular oneness, this individuality. So while we may be experiencing that in-between space where we're trying to create a happy medium right now at this time, or maybe we're coming out of it, trying to create that happy medium between that like I said, that sadness, that grief of, oh my gosh, the world is so big, and like it's not just the world, it's the multiverse, and I'm just one little speck in it, but I am also everything in my speck. My speck is everything and is all of that. Find the medium between that and I'm me, I'm alone, I'm by myself, I am one, I choose my path, I am the creator of my world, I want to go first, I want it first, I want it before anyone else, I want what I want, and I want it now. I want to be taken care of. I want to be treated as though I'm the only one that matters. There is like this sort of selfish young infant child energy that comes with Aries season, and what we learn from the Pillar and the Death card together is that you don't have to separate them. You don't have to kill one in order to expose the other. You don't have to really relinquish your hold fun that everythingness, when you're also experiencing that nothingness of like nothing else matters. Everything matters, nothing else matters but me. You don't have to kill that feeling inside of everything matters when you want just you to matter, in order to follow that voice that tells you, I matter, everything matters, and I matter too, because I am everything. I am part of that everything. I think the lesson here in this first collection of cards is that we are really making that attempt together to expand and really hold each other's hands as well as hold our own hand and say, it's okay to hurt while you're growing through this. It's okay to want more for yourself while you want more for the rest of the world and for the earth. It's okay to want all of these and to experience all of these things together, because that's totally natural. That's what we all really need to be experiencing in order to understand the vastness of the human experience. So the next collection of cards includes, and this is fun, includes the universe along with the sovereign. I was just thinking about how I hadn't seen the sovereign in a really long time. I think I've only ever pulled the sovereign for one person. And I'm like smiling because I'm thinking about somebody who's not in my life anymore who probably would get the sovereign if I did a card reading for them. But I want to include the universe and the sovereign with these other two cards because it feels like they really are just all part of the same message. So the Sage of Wands is about spiritual energy, and the Ten of Worlds came together as the Seer and Reward to show us that there is such reward in bringing those two together that I was talking about before, of like, you know, the universe being something that you're a part of, and that you also can help just by caring, just by wanting to help, and also being the ruler of your own world, and very selfishly invested in your own experience, your destiny, your dreams. There is such reward and pleasure that you can experience at this time during this Aries season in allowing yourself to not, it's like treat yourself, like reward yourself for just being you, for doing the best that you possibly can. And also, there are many rewards that come to you and that will come to you when you learn to integrate those two pillars, learn to hold those two as your foundation of like everything matters and nothing but me matters. There is a message coming through from the universe, from our ancestors, that says when you see yourself as part of everything, you ultimately become attuned to the needs of everything. So when you listen to your needs, that is the everything's needs. So if that wasn't simple enough, because you are the universe, if you want to help the universe and you want to really tune into spirit, the spirit of everything, just tune into you and go with what you need, because that guidance will get you further than anything else. As long as you are connected to your own vision, you are connected to your needs, your desires, and you take responsibility You take responsibility for your presence. You take responsibility for your powers. And it may not be, like powers as in, like supernatural powers, like we think of like telekinesis is powers and flying is powers. Your power may just be in turning around to someone. This is so Aries season. I have to tell y'all about this. Turning around to somebody because they said no to taking 5 steps back in line in front of Trader Joe's so that you and the other person who were waiting in line could stand in the shade and all 3 of you could stand in the shade together. They said no to that. So your power might be in turning around and saying, I see you. I see you being rude. I see you being disrespectful. And that's okay. You do you. But I'm going to let you know that I feel disrespected. You do you, but I feel disrespected. So that's me. I'm going to let you know what's going on with me. That in and of itself is a power. Because let me tell you, the people, I did this today, the people at Trader Joe's were so happy that I pulled out that power, that superpower of channeling the energy of the message that needed to be delivered to that person, which is that you're being disrespectful and you could be more considerate to other people. Channeling that message for the people of Trader Joe's, because they were all thanking me for saying something. When I left, they literally gave me a bouquet of flowers that's sitting right up here right now. Because you never know how that one little moment where you take the power that is within you and you show it to others might empower other people just by seeing it. Might be the power that the universe needed to be delivered in that moment. If I had suppressed my feelings and I had just raged silently and quietly or just like mumbled to myself, that wouldn't have been where the power wanted to go. That wouldn't have been where the energy wanted to go. And things might have turned out differently. I'm not saying that she learned a lesson. I'm saying that everyone around who also experienced that moment got a taste for what it's like to harness the power that is there, harness the power of the energy that you're feeling in that moment, whether it's frustration, whether it's rage, whether it's joy, whether it's liberation, and you just want to scream and you just want to yell. Whatever powerful energy is coming through you, if it wants to come out at that time and you're wondering to yourself, am I really supposed to be doing this right now? Am I really supposed to be saying this right now? This isn't usually how I act, but this is how I act today. When you take that power and you just wear it, because you stand differently with a crown. You stand differently when you become sovereign. And when you take your power that you have, whether it's speaking up, whether it's being expressive through an art form and sharing that with others, whether it's being behind the scenes and tinkering in all of these little ways that help elevate your team or help other people, even if it's unseen, it's still a power. Even if it's something that you do by yourself in your room and then you share it with others later, still powerful. Because anything that you do that affects other people is power. And when you wear that power, others learn about their sovereignty. Others get to learn and experience what their sovereignty, what their ownership of their power could look like. So if you're seeing yourself in a moment where you are normally like, you know what, I'm not gonna, I'm not going to, this is, you know, beyond my pay grade, or this is outside the realm of what I want to invest my time in, but it's asking me to invest that time today, let yourself go there. Let yourself feel the passion in it. I'm coming back to this card that that was the first one that fell out, the Ten of Cups, because we've got the Ten of Worlds here. And I feel like there's a dual component to this message, which is that the outcome of you harnessing your emotions out in the world and reflecting what is going on inside of you, what you feel passionate and powerful feeling, reflecting that out in your relationships, in the situations that you're in the work that you do, when it comes to how you feel about money and who you talk to and interact with, when it comes to money and your relationships, just everything that's outside of you that has to do with you that still affects you. When you allow yourself to really go there, the outcome is a great reward for everyone. The outcome is that everyone feels like they get something out of it. And I really experienced that today when I just let myself go there, even though I was like really questioning myself. I was really questioning my sanity. I was like, is it because I have low blood sugar that this is happening? Or is it simply because this is what this person needs to hear? This is what when I noticed that everybody else was watching, I was like, must be what these people need to hear. There was one of the staff, like when I finally got to go inside, because they were doing a 1 in, 1 out now with the pandemic, I like came inside and one of them followed me and was like, one of the Trader Joe's employees, and was like, are you okay? Okay, let me know if you need anything. Like, she gave me this knowing look, like, you're good, like, you did good for you, thank you. And I was like, I don't understand it, but once I was leaving and they were giving me the flowers, I did. The energy of that feeling, that passionate feeling of like I get to be the sovereign lion right now. I get to be this intense, explosive energy because this is something that other people have been feeling and wish, like I was telling my dad when I was like playing it back for him, everything that happened. I was like, I feel as though, you know, it's when you're at a job and you experience the same employees. I work at a job right now where I experience the same people over and over, and I'm like, ew, or get out of my face, or like, I wish I didn't have to deal with you because you're not the kind of person for me. I feel like the folks at Trader Joe's experienced that with this woman, and we're so happy to have had somebody say everything that they were thinking that they wish they could have said if it wouldn't have gotten them fired. So there really is such a power in taking part in the universal desires that are right there, because you never know what you're tapping into until it's been unleashed. It feels really good. It feels really good to allow yourself to own that without having any shame, feeling any sort of guilt or resentment or desire for revenge after. Just, it happened exactly as it was meant to happen, and I'm not going to make myself feel bad about going off on somebody or screaming wildly because I'm just having the time of my fucking life. I'm not going to feel any kind of way about it other than how I felt in that moment, which was really good. Felt really good to do that thing when I was feeling that way. It's as simple as that. The next set of cards is showing us the Guardian and Harmony. So we've got another 8. and it's the Eight of Wands, which is spiritual energy again. And we have the Woman of Crystals. They are together with the Magi and the Share Wisdom card. Now these cards together, I feel that the Eight of Wands is over here balancing the Eight of Worlds, the Change card, because change and harmony are both energies that really blend things together. Change isn't just about something becoming something else. It's about the integration of the somethings. It's about both somethings becoming new, because the first thing, like if you think about a caterpillar becoming a butterfly, like there is still a lot of caterpillar in the butterfly. There's still a lot of the fabric of that first thing in the second thing. It's the same with harmony. A harmonious experience is one that combines energies so that it becomes something new. And when you harmonize with spirit, when you accept your role in the spirit of everything, and this again is like Pisces into Aries energy, that whole spirit of everything, that's the Pisces world, spirit of everything coming together with the spirit of you, your own spirit, your soul, and all of your soul wounds, all of your soul joys, all of the little fragments of your soul fabric that may come together in the spirit of everything and combine with other souls and begin weaving into the fragments of their experience and become a new, totally new fabric, a totally, completely new textile. There is this energy here of when you really love the magic of being you, and that allows you to respect and to guard the validity, guard the sovereignty of the spirit of you that is another person, the spirit of you that is someone that you have to see every day at work that you really don't like, or the spirit of you that is the soul of the corporation that you work for, that is the soul of the home that you live in, that is the soul of all of the little pieces, of all of the little elements of artwork and design that you have put into your space, that all have woven together to become the fabric of your room or your closet, whatever clothes that you have there that represent you. There is something about the ownership of you, the ownership of your spirit and your own particular flavor of you, that when you respect it and you own it and you take possession of it in that, I want to say, perfectly animalistic way. So like a sloth isn't trying to be a lion, you know? Like a turtle, you know, may go in the water, but it ain't trying to be a fish. There is such power in being the kind of animal that you are owning the space and the surroundings and the environment that you are supposed to be in. So that even when you are a cat in water or a fish on land, even in the moments when you are still you and you are still being the youest version of you, but you are not in an environment or not in the surroundings that would embrace you and reflect back to you the beauty of you, the beauty of who you are and how you are, even in those moments, you can still find harmony. Because you can see the magic in your surroundings. You can see the magic in others owning who they are and owning their hurts that made them the way that they are. That's what I was thinking about on my way home after this interaction with this lady was, damn, I wonder what kind of life she's had that has made her so savage like this, that has formed her, the environment that made her the creature that she is. It's like I wonder, and I don't need to think about it too deeply, and I don't need to try and make up a story that makes me feel better about her. I actually did a podcast episode on this, and I don't know that I've released it yet, but I will be soon. A podcast episode on this, on somebody at work who I was just trying to like detach from my feelings about them, because I realized they must have a lot of feelings about their own environment. They must have a lot of feelings about their own experience that has made them experience me this way. So it's not to excuse people's behavior. It's not to so empathize with them that they are a saint for coming as far as they have, in that story that you might paint for them, to really give them the benefit of doubt. It's to create the level of harmony that you need to be in communion with others who are the guardians of their own spirit and the gatekeepers of their own energy. The beautiful wisdom that comes from this is, and I'm thinking about how the Share Wisdom card shows these badgers who are fiercely protective of their surroundings, their holes, their spaces that they create for themselves. The wisdom that we can gain from not creating stories about other people and their spirit and what their spirit has endured to get them here, to make them the kind of person, to make them the kind of creature that they appear to us to be now. The kind of wisdom that you can get from not creating the story, but from recognizing that to be harmonious and to be in harmony with them and in communion with their spirit, you have to see the magic in your own spirit and show that too. The wisdom is that we get to see not just ourselves in others and come back to their hurt, and that's what made them this way and so easily capable of hurting other people. But I have hurts, and I still act differently, and sometimes I hurt people in just being who I am. And it gives us the key. It gives us it's like the magic word. It gives us the key to forgiveness. And I think Aries is, although it is one of the maybe harshest signs, one of the quickest to snap and quickest to change how it feels, I think it's also the one that is most forgiving. And that's something that Pisces and Aries share, is that energy of forgiveness, which is that, I understand that you are doing you, because I'm over here doing me too. That's just how it works. You do you, and I respect that you are doing you. I don't respect that you disrespected me. I don't respect the way that you handled that, but I respect the fact that you are doing you, that you are being your you-est you, that you are the creature now, here before me, that you were intended to be, that you were created as, that you were molded and shaped to be. Because I think there's a forgiveness in that. I think there's an inherent forgiveness in that appreciation, that mutual reciprocity of, hey, respect that I'm here, being myself. Because I respect you being yourself too. I also am like taking the symbolism of Aries being the first in astrology as like, Aries is that infant newborn who will cry and scream and giggle and laugh and kick and bite and whatever, just to learn, just to learn about its world, just to help others learn about them and their needs and their wants and their desires, using the most base emotions, the most base actions, the most base behaviors. And babies are the ones who are inherently forgiving. They're inherently like designed to forgive what flaws and what sort of misgivings that the people around them have. They may not forget. They may be like, yo, you hurt me that one time, then you hurt me again, or you just have a bad energy and I'm going to stay away from you. I've been in childcare for a long ass time. I've been in childcare for more than half of the years that I've been alive. And I've seen a lot of kids and babies just not say hello, not be okay, cry when they saw or when they met somebody because they just could feel that energy of like, we don't get along, or I don't trust you. But ultimately, when infants are on to the next thing, they've already forgiven. It's in the past. It happened. And I'm not going to hold on to it. But what I am going to do is react to the energy that I'm feeling when I'm feeling it. So that goes back to the overall Aries message here, which is that you got to feel what you're feeling when you're feeling it, and the power of that exposed to others shows them their power, their inherent power, as well as develops this mutual respect of like, we are harmonious because we're not all a bunch of guitars trying to strum the same melody together. You're a trombone and I'm a flute and they're a guitar and that's a tambourine over there. The way that we harmonize is by not trying to be a tambourine that sounds like a flute. or that acts like a flute to make flutes more comfortable in its presence. You know what I'm saying? That harmony helps us to come back to that integration of the Pisces message, which is that you don't have to grieve all that you are not. You don't have to be sad for all that you are not and all that you have not yet been able to do or accomplish. You don't have to be sad for all that you have lost, because it is sad. Grief is love magnified by loss. But when you lose things, and when you lose people, and you lose opportunities, and when you allow that hurt to dissolve into love, into that very foundational feeling of love is my teacher, and I feel hurt, and I feel that hurt of loss because I am being taught how to love better, being taught how to love more. When you let that be a part of this harmonious experience during Aries season right now, then you can really get the juice, squeeze the juice. And I feel like that's what all of my astro season card readings are all about, is getting the most juice out of each astrological season. But that's what it comes back to, is this is all here for you. Pisces season, the loss, the grief, the exposure to crazy, wild, intense emotion, the clash and chaos that happens when such different people and people who are not meant to be in the environments that they're in, that because they're too different, there's too much dissonance there. All of this is a teacher, is teaching us how to get closer to the essence of love in everything. So I'm gonna let the goddesses give us one final word and tell us like the final message that we get to round this all out with. So the first card is Hecate, goddess of mysteries, and she's telling us in our head to think seductively. Things now are not what they seem. Motives, beliefs, and information must be kept secret. There can be no sign of what is really going on. What will it take to accomplish your goal without interference? You too may be the target of seduction. Passions may try and overrule logic, so beware of enticing involvements you may later regret. This sounds like a warning, and I'm gonna let the other two have their say before I come in with the final message altogether. So there's Divyana, goddess of communication, and she's telling us in our home space to establish security. A solid foundation is necessary to attain your goal. There must first be a safe haven from which to operate. Then, do only what makes you and yours truly secure. Nurture and protect yourself so that those whom you love and help are also strengthened. Help must be asked for and given only as it is needed, or true growth will not take place. Finally, we have Bridget. Oh, Divyana. I knew that this one was not the goddess of communication. Divyana is the goddess of, oh, I know it, and I can't remember it, and I forgive myself. Protection. That's what I was going to say before. Divyana is goddess of protection. This is just a typo, a misprint. So, Divyana, goddess of protection, is saying establish security. That makes more sense now. And Bridget, goddess of communication, is saying to feel changeable. Again, with that change message that we started the reading with. So in our heart, she's telling us to feel changeable. And she says, now is not the time to know or say precisely how you feel. Uncertainty's purpose can only be learned in hindsight. Self-knowledge and growth require the confronting of confusion. The craziness you now feel will lead to needed reevaluation. Take heart and know that every seeker of wisdom often experiences the challenge of indecision. So what I'm getting from the three of these together is that you may second guess yourself. And this is in this spread that I have, it's like the start, stop, and continue, but it's not necessarily like that. I feel like it was kind of like one whole message like leading to this. But where the goddess cards are in this spread, that's usually like my obstacle or my blockage space, and that's what I feel like this is giving us right now, is the obstacle or the thing that might be blocking us from experiencing the freedom of our emotional empowerment and the love of how different we all are, is wanting to hide and run and establish security from all of the energies that might entangle us in negative feelings, the kinds of feelings that we have labeled as negative. Because the rage that I felt today was beautiful and glorious, and there are times when I've felt the rage within me the rage within me was not being put to use in a good way, and that's what made it negative. But when we experience those kinds of wild and confusing emotions, that it's like, where is this coming from? It's just coming out of me right now. That kind of flow actually teaches us that all of our emotions are fucking great. It's just that there really is a time and a space for everything. And very often our emotions don't get to put to use in the way that they want to be, in the way that they crave. And ultimately, all that our emotions want is to see change happen, is to see greater harmony within ourselves and our surroundings, in that kind of infinity figure eight configuration of like, I am that you are that I am. And when we reach an equilibrium, that's when like emotions are not quite as wild. But if there is this powerful change of energy, then the mysterious way that our emotions expose themselves actually help us to redefine our surroundings, help us to redefine what our emotions mean to us, and help us to renegotiate the kinds of surroundings that we want to find ourselves in, the kinds of surroundings that we feel good in. So like, again, with the situation I was in earlier today, I felt confused at the time by why I would need to be this explosive right now. Like, just standing in line at the grocery store. Why why this, the confusion and the mystery of like, should I be second guessing myself? Should I let my logic tell me logically this isn't a big deal? Logically, somebody taking 5 steps back, so you and this old man that you're also trying to protect and trying to help could stand in the shade for a couple seconds longer is not a big deal. In the grand scheme, not a big fucking deal. But if I had blocked myself with those thoughts, if I had blocked myself and the feelings that I was feeling in that moment and tried to protect myself from the badness of being seen enraged, and that maybe shame that I was feeling around not being able to control myself, if I had done that, then the people around me wouldn't have seen that display of power. They wouldn't have gotten to witness what they needed to see in order to feel like, ooh, something has shifted. Something has changed, and there was value in that interaction. There was value in getting to witness such divine, just rage. So if I hadn't felt changeable in the way that I communicated, if I hadn't felt like there were other possibilities, there was another potential way of going about things than just stuffing it down and feeling shame that I would even want to explode on somebody, if I hadn't let myself go there, then we wouldn't have had this beautiful example of what Aries season looks like, could look like. And the universe wouldn't have got its message across. Everybody individually would have had to learn it a different way, or see it and witness that experience of love in a different way. Because while I was angry, while I was so rightfully angry, I also felt so much love. I felt love for myself. I felt love for the way that I spoke up. I felt love for the person that was there with me, that I was hoping to protect and help. I felt love for the people who were working there, that just like gave me that acknowledgement of like, you did the thing. I felt love for all of the people in that woman's life who experience her the way that she is and love her the way that she is. And I also felt love for that woman. I felt love for, in the way that I could forgive her being the way that she is, respect that she showed up exactly as she was, created to be. I felt love for her doing what felt right for her, and giving me that opportunity to say, that feels wrong and bad and rude. I loved it. I loved the whole thing. And someone gave me flowers because of it. Like, what the fuck? So this feels like sort of a warning, like I said at the beginning, that if you're trying to protect yourself and establish a boundary between your emotions coming into your sphere and your experience, and your emotions spilling over into the experience of others, then you're not letting your emotions be who they are. That's it. That's the one. You're not letting your emotions be who they're meant to be. Do what they're meant to do. That feels really good. Feels like a great place to end this reading. I'm going to be talking more about all of this Aries season energy, following up on the experiences that may be witnessed based on the energies in this reading in the Vibrant Coven. So I so encourage you to come and check it out, be a part of the experience, and to love yourself and know that you are deserving of all the love you desire. Mwah.